Tomorrow. Let me think on it a little bit more, and then if I decide I'm going to do it, I'll go get it.
That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations.
Yeah.
Really, what we stand for, together with the MSHSAA, are the 170.
Oh, we just have one copy now?
Sports and performing arts students in Missouri. And so we stand.
I
We
get.
stand for runners, debate team members, and basketball players.
Hey, Dad, there's some toys back here.
For their coaches, officials.
So when I was looking at,
We stand for the drummers.
it's a combination. If it can be a deep freezer or it could be a refrigerator. I told the guy, well, I just need a deep freezer.
And swimmers.
He said, well, to do it. I said, okay. But it's almost $500.
And all who participate in them and make them
Dad, there's toys back here.
because it is our
We're going to get Menards, Mom.
Well, honey,
We're going to get Menards.
whose pop is back there? I don't know.
It's got coffee.
That's Face. I forgot it.
And we're going to get a Menards, Mom.
I may go look at the deep freezer.
We probably come with you.
Probably.
And we continue with Our American Stories, and with law enforcement consultant, author, and active senior lead officer in Los Angeles, Dion Joseph. Let's pick up where we left
We get back to Chinatown, and once again, the fifth is there doing it for AEW in progress. We get there, and first we're wondering where the basic harm for that area is, and they're tied up with 3 people they arrested. It's kind of a picture of how dangerous it was down there. We get to Fifth and San Julian, I see a man sitting, holding his chest on the sidewalk, and sure enough, somebody stabbed him and punctured his lung. And he points down the street to the man who did it, and I was like, the guy was walking like he wasn't running away. So I call the ambulance for him to go to detain this guy, and I'll never forget him saying to me, "Oh, why are you so hard up? I'm going to be out in about 2 days. DA's going to protect his case." And I'm like, "No, he's not." I went to the station because one thing I can't stand is when you hurt people who are poor or downtrodden. It's part of my DNA. So I went to the station and I wrote the world's greatest police report. And I struggled because I was from a unified school district that really didn't give a crap about me, right? I literally had an English teacher that said, "Dion, all you got to do is put your name on the paper and we'll give you a fee." And I did that, taking the easy way out.
that?
So to this day, I still struggle with dangling participles and antecedents and, as a result of not trying. That's my fault, not his. Anyway, I sat down and wrote the greatest police report in the world, dotted every I, crossed every T, colons everywhere, quotations in the right place. It was beautiful. Get into the Watch Commander, and this Watch Commander, we call him Red Pen. And he would keep a red pen. For new officers, he would just completely rip up their reports because he was an English major.
Huh?
And I
Cussing?
said,
No.
I said, "Joseph, this is the world's greatest police report." I'm exaggerating.
That noise?
Huh?
And I was like, "Thank you,
What?
sir."
That noise?
Took him out of jail, and I just knew
The
that I
noise?
was going to get a
Huh?
homeless
Off
victim
noise?
justice.
Yeah.
I came back 2 days later. I'm driving down the street, and I guess what I see? The bald-head guy who stabbed him. And he looked at me and said, "I told you." I was upset. I was livid. I went into the detective's office, and I said, "Hey, I wrote the hell out of that report." And the detective said, "You sure did, Officer Joseph. It was a great report." And she showed me the disposition of the district attorney's office. And it says, "DA reject because the victim is a drug addict and because they're homeless." I would ask anybody, does that sound fair to you? And the answer is absolutely not. Justice should not be dealt to people who we believe are perfect people. It's for everybody. And that was a moment that changed my life. You always find a catalyst, and that was my catalyst for why I decided to kind of stay and be a champion on top of my DNA. The reason why people thought I was crazy for being in Skid Row enthusiastically, right, was because of my parents. My parents were engaged in outreach their entire life. Their 47-year marriage, they helped raise 41 foster children on top of their 4 children and 3 grandchildren. And so I was around for about 17 of those kids. And you would think I would have a little resentment for not getting 100% of my parents' love. But no, it was actually wonderful to see my parents change these kids' lives, whether they were with us for 2 weeks or for 2 years. And the cool thing about my parents, it wasn't just about the kids. They would often sneak and counsel the parents. So the parents would end up being better parents when the kids finally went back to them. And I'll never forget, we Kicking kids who were sexually assaulted, homeless, neglected, malnourished. We even took home a neo-Nazi. And this kid's father told him, don't eat the N-word's food. I'm going to come sneak a Big Mac to you at night. And I couldn't believe it, right? So the father never came with that Big Mac. So after about the third or fourth day, I think the kid got hungry, and we caught him in the refrigerator sneaking some collard greens and black-eyed peas. And, and it was delicious, and he didn't die. He realized that the N-word food's not going to kill you, right? And after about another month with us, he thought he was black. He was like, man, we got pulled over by the police, and this kid was like, you just thought us to be black. And we're all like, no, kid, no, don't do that. I'll never forget that. It was a road trip to Louisiana. It was hilarious. And he didn't want to go back to his own dad. He ended up thankfully being sent to his mother, who wasn't a neo-Nazi. And just watching my parents change the life of these kids was incredible to me. Then my dad, he was a self-made man, grew up in the Jim Crow South, dealt with real, tangible racism, not this transferred racism that we're dealing with today. We got kids today acting like they lived through Jim Crow, and they have no idea what real, tangible, palpable, cross-burning, you sit on the back of the bus racism is like. My dad grew up in that, and because of being so poor and so broke, being abandoned by his family at times, he turned to crime. And of course, he changed his life, found the Lord, met my mom in church. Oh, actually fell in love with my mom in church. They met at a hospital. And basically, he said, I was never going to hurt anybody again to get what I needed. So when he became a successful businessman, he would always reach back and hire individuals who reminded him of himself, and I didn't know this. I was going through my background investigations with the department, and they, of course, one of the questions they asked is, have you ever associated with any known felons? And of course, I was telling the truth. Hell no, I'm squeaky clean. You guys check me out. You guys talked to my fourth grade teacher. What the hell? You know this, right? And turns out my dad says, sorry, son, you did. So what are you talking about? He said, you remember Cowboy the Framer? Yeah. Oh, he is an ex-murderer. What? You remember Andre? The guy you dig ditches with? I was like, yeah. He was a drug dealer. And I was like, oh, what? But I calmed down when I realized the beauty of what my dad did. He gave people a second chance who reminded him of himself. And if they wanted that second chance, he was going to help them. He believed in hands up, not hands out. He believed in hands up, giving people a hand up. So watching this inspired me, and I loved, he never called his employees his employees. He always called them his friends. And I was like amazed by this. And you'll never hear me call a person a skid row, a bum, a hobo, a transient. I will always call them my friends, even if they're cussing me out. I will always call them my friends. And then lastly, my mother and father fed the homeless religiously every Saturday, cooking fresh home-cooked meals as if she was cooking for her family, and taking it down to parks and helping families. And she did that up until she got sick and passed away. So after about 3 months of being in Skid Row, all fears went away, and I realized that I was home. This is what my parents were preparing me for. And all I was doing was, in my own way, carrying out their mission. And I fell in love with trying to help and change the culture of Skid Row. As a patrol cop, I loved the community then just as much as I did now. I just went about it differently. I arrested everybody and their mother. That's what I did. If you were selling crack, if you were assaulting people, if you murdered somebody, I'm going to drive up and I'm going to stuff you in the back of my car along with several of your friends if I can. And that's a noble effort. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing racist or cold about that. You break the law, you got to do the time. But what it did was it kind of it gave me a perception problem to the community, because I didn't have time to stop and say what I was doing or why. Because I was so busy, it was just like, I'm just here to arrest black people. So I ended up getting one of many names at the time, RoboCop. I had many names. So the first name was Uncle Tom, a house Negro, white man's boot-licking lapdog. I heard that one, right? The combinations were just incredible. Then came RoboCop, because I walked like a robot. I had all this gear on me, and it's like you couldn't get away from me. I knew every crevice in the area.
And you're listening to Dion Joseph tell one heck of a story, not just about himself, not just about the people he defends and calls his friends, those people on Skid Row, but also the model that his family provided for him, adopting so many people whose society would cast off. And here on this show, we tell stories about people whose society casts off But great people, particularly people of faith, well, give a second chance. And give a real second chance. A hand up, not a handout. And they're very different things. And you could hear it in Dion Joseph's voice and even a chuckle, explaining the difference between a hand up and a handout. When we come back, more of this remarkable story. It's a story about so many things, but in the end, about grace and love behind a badge. The story of Dion Joseph continues here on Our American Stories.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. Dinovite. Dinovite. It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out. Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Now the most up-to-date weather forecast here on KFEQ.
Cold front is dropping in for the overnight hours. We might get a little bit of cloud cover, but no rain expected with that. Low 50s and then quite a bit cooler on Sunday. Lots of sunshine, our high in the low 70s. Wind will be a little gusty, though, at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Partly cloudy on Sunday night, sunny Monday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hansen.
What?
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them, safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this